Do you ever feel paralyzed by the weight of decisions in your business? Over the years, I've observed this challenge repeatedly while working with small businesses. Decision making can be incredibly difficult, and I've seen many business owners stumble due to an inability to make objective choices. More often than not, these missteps stem from allowing emotions to influence their decisions. For small business owners, every choice can feel like a make or break moment, but here's the truth: fear of decision making doesn't have to hold you back. In this episode, we'll uncover why decision making can feel so daunting, explore its impact on your business culture, and also share actionable strategies to overcome this fear. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Pursuit of Value podcast. My name is Marcus Hamaker. Thank you for joining us today. We are on a mission to help over 1 million small business owners per month. Now, as a reminder, season 1 of the POV podcast was all about the business owner mindset, setting the foundation for thinking correctly as a small business owner. If you haven't watched any of those episodes, please check those out because season 2 builds on season 1. Season 2, we're talking all about company culture. In this episode specifically, we will examine how decision making or the lack thereof can affect your company culture. And we see this all the time. I see this all the time in medium-sized and large companies, not so much just in small companies. So let's jump in. So, why small business owners fear decision making? Well, number one, high stakes and personal investment. Many small business owners have their personal finances, time, and even reputation tied to their ventures. And I talk about this all the time, but if you view yourself as your company, if you see it as one, this is going to cloud your judgment. This makes mistakes feel more consequential and deeply personal. Now, number two is uncertainty and a lack of clarity. Without clear goals or sufficient information, entrepreneurs can fall into what's called analysis paralysis, overthinking options without taking action. Now, think about this. And we see this all the time in small business. If you don't have a clear goal, how do you know where you're going and how do you know how to judge or view the decision that you need to make? The goal will help filter that decision. 3, perfectionism and fear of failure. Fear of failure is common, it's a human thing, but the desire to make the perfect decision often leads to procrastination or avoidance. The fear of rejection or failure amplifies this hesitation. Next would be decision fatigue. Running a business requires constant decision making, which can lead to mental exhaustion. This fatigue reduces focus and increases the likelihood of poor choices. It makes you tired. And then emotional attachment. Small businesses are often passion projects, making it hard to separate emotions from logic when weighing decisions. Now, again, and I keep repeating myself on this, but if you over-identify with your business, it can cloud your judgment and hinder objective decision making. When business owners view their business as an extension of themselves, it's easy for things to feel deeply personal. While this perspective is natural, it should never serve as an excuse. And I say this all the time, and I'm sure there's people that disagree with me, but you, as the business owner, are not the business. It's two separate things. Over-identifying with your business can cloud judgment and hinder your ability to make sound decisions. Again, you are not your business. All right, so when you are operating in all of this, you're operating in fear. So what is the impact of fear on your business? What are those consequences? Well, number one, it's stagnation. It's hesitation slows progress, whether it's launching a new product, hiring staff, or expanding operations. If you don't make the decision, it's going to drag it out and it's going to cause stagnation. What's after that is missed opportunities. Delayed decisions can result in lost chances to innovate or respond to market trends. And another thing is, we as humans, if we don't want to face something, we'll often put our focus on just keeping busy. And we talked about this in past episodes. Busyness is a value fraud. It doesn't mean you're making good progress. It just means you're busy. So if you find yourself gravitating towards busyness because you don't want to make a decision, that's a huge red flag. And then next, reduced confidence. And see, this all builds on each other. If you're not making good decisions and you're dragging things out, what's the natural consequence of that? reduced confidence. Chronic indecision erodes self-trust, making future choices even harder. And then what follows after that is burnout. It's constant worry over decisions, contributes to stress and exhaustion, harming both the owner and the business. And then you're tired. You're tired all the time because you're burnt out. And then what's next after that is culture. Fear of decision making can deeply impact your company culture. And if you as an owner are dragging along in this stagnation, fear of making decisions, and burnout, it's going to affect every aspect of your company. I guarantee it. All right. The above stagnation, missed opportunities, diminished confidence, and even burnout will become your company reality, period. These issues can permeate every aspect of your organization. You set the tone for your team as the business owner and leader. If you struggle with making decisions, it will inevitably reflect in the culture you cultivate. Now, I've touched on this story before, but when I started my construction company, I was in concrete construction. In the early days of that, I really struggled with making decisions because in the concrete world, you ordered concrete, it showed up on the job, and you had to pour it. You couldn't wait. I mean, it was go time. When that truck showed up, everybody amped up, got a little stressed out, and you had to go. And the day before, in the afternoon of each day, I would plan the next day, and I found myself getting very, very, very stressed out about that because I would think about the weather. I would think about if my guys were going to show up. I thought about all these what if scenarios. If something went wrong, I would have this concrete that I had to pour that I couldn't pour, and I'd have to rip it out, and all these things started scaring the heck out of me. So one late afternoon, I was sitting in my truck and I was planning the next day, and I was just heavy with anxiety and fear. Well, I had an epiphany. First, I got angry because I was sitting there not able to make a decision. And then I thought to myself, man, what's the worst that can happen? Like, seriously, what is the worst thing that can happen? Well, I would have to tear the concrete out. And then I thought about it. Not that big of a deal. I've done it before. I've manned a jackhammer many days in my life. It wasn't the end of the world. So it was just this slight perspective change that completely changed how I viewed my business. So I was able to just move forward. And it was such a freeing experience because it was just this little tiny pivot in perspective. Like, man, what is the worst that can happen? And from that moment on, it was awesome because I was all about productivity and the fear was gone. I made the decision. Once I made the decision, I forgot about it and it was on to the next one, on to the next one. And that moment is what allowed me to really have a decent skill set when it comes to decision making because I don't fear it anymore. I'm able to make quick decisions. And it's because of that moment when I was younger. So it was a great experience. It was one simple shift in perspective that changed how I ran my business. It led to a more confident, fearless approach to challenges. All right. Actionable strategies to overcome decision fear. Number one, reframe decisions as a process. So, what I did after that moment is that when it came time to plan the next day, I had a system. It was like 1, 2, 3, done. And that was it. And it really helped me make decisions. So, think of it as a process and not a life or death situation. And treat decisions as adjustable steps rather than the monumental events, because that really, really makes a difference. Use decision-making tools, decision matrices to evaluate options based on weighted criteria such as cost, impact, and feasibility. I don't suggest this on every decision, but on big decisions, I would suggest this. And then on smaller ones, just list out the pros and cons. List it out clarity. And again, filter it against your company goals. And then gather information and seek advice. Information is key. Having information to make good decision is super, super important. Consult mentors or involve your team for diverse perspectives because it's always good to bounce ideas off of people. And then you want to prioritize high impact choices. Focus on strategic decisions aligned with long-term goals. Again, going back to goals. And then if you can, delegate the minor tasks. You don't need to make every decision in your company. One of the things that I often do is I always want to give my team the ability to make decisions. Small ones at first, and then gradually bigger, bigger, and bigger, because I want them to exercise that decision muscle. I don't want them to play tight and operate in fear. And then Build confidence through action. Start small by practicing quick decisions. Learn from mistakes. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Mistakes are good for learning. And then combat decision fatigue. Automate routine tasks. Schedule major decisions during peak energy times. And then lastly, balance intuition with logic. Combine gut instincts with data-driven insights. Pretty simple. Fear doesn't have to control your business decisions. Start small today. Pick one strategy from the list and implement it. All right. Next steps. Reframe how you view decisions or delegate routine tasks to free up mental space for bigger choices. Commit to practicing quick, low stakes decisions this week to build confidence for larger ones. Every successful entrepreneur has to face fear in decision making. What sets them apart is their ability to act despite it. All right. Please check out www.thepovpodcast.com for more insights. Watch additional episodes on our YouTube. Download the free ebook, The Mindset Shift, How Successful Business Owners Think Differently. You can download that at our website. And there's also a paid version for the full ebook. A big thank you to our sponsor, Boost USA, a project management and professional services consultancy. Boost supplies the blueprint to streamline your organization, optimize your processes, and simplify your projects. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this added value.